Chapter 66. Artificial Rainfall. Simon roared and swung his axe at Oscar's wife, but his actions terrified his own wife. She tried to stop him, pushing his arm. The axe veered off course, missing Oscar's wife, but landing squarely on Oscar's neck instead. The sound of the blade sinking into flesh echoed. Oscar stopped dead in his tracks. Simon froze. Oscar's wife turned to look at him, stunned. Everyone was in shock. Blood spurted from Oscar's neck, spraying 2 or 3 meters before hitting the ground. Ah! A piercing scream rang out in Simon's courtyard. Hiroshi, munching on a strawberry yogurt salad, watched over the agricultural robots harvesting and packing wheat and corn like a supervisor. "You have recovered radiation-proof wheat?" The pleasant notification kept ringing in his ear. He checked his marketplace points. Exactly 1 million. 16 days, 17 hours, and 54 minutes until the next cataclysm. Read the ominous crimson warning. Hiroshi stroked his chin. If the second cataclysm targeted water sources, he needed to prepare now. Drinking water wouldn't be an issue with a giant water cellar, but irrigation for his fields and refreshing the fish ponds required large amounts of water, enough to last him and his sister for years. An artificial lake? No, that's just a big water cellar. It won't solve the long-term problem, Hiroshi muttered. Wells will dry up after the cataclysm too. Hiroshi racked his brain, unable to come up with a solution. Suddenly, he slapped his forehead in excitement. Of course. I've got it. Artificial rainfall. Yes, artificial rainfall. He had been fixated on underground water sources, forgetting that there was water in the sky too. Rain and snow are vital water sources in the world. Without further ado, Hiroshi sprang into action. The fish pond had been dug and was awaiting the installation of heating pipes before fish could be introduced. Now, Hiroshi could focus on other tasks. Artificial precipitation, also known as cloud seeding, involves adding materials to clouds to encourage the formation of raindrops or snowflakes, Hiroshi muttered to himself, recalling the principles of artificial rainfall. Rainfall is primarily linked to clouds, specifically warm and cold clouds. Depending on the type of cloud, different materials are used for cloud seeding. For warm clouds, substances like salt or urea are dispersed to encourage the formation of large raindrops. For cold clouds, dry ice or silver iodide is used to create ice crystals, which then fall as precipitation. Hiroshi glanced at the sky. Since the sun's destruction, a thick layer of clouds had shrouded the sky. Though cold, the air was humid, indicating a high presence of water molecules. A good sign. Hiroshi couldn't measure the water vapor concentration in the clouds, but felt that the air's humidity meant the clouds were full of ice crystals ready to turn into rain. Given the low temperature, the clouds were likely cold clouds. To make them precipitate, dry ice would be needed. Dry ice, solid carbon dioxide, is widely used in fire extinguishers and other fields, making it readily available. Soon, Hiroshi obtained dozens of kilograms of dry ice. He needed to pulverize the dry ice into a fine powder, load it into a dispersal device, and deliver it to the clouds via aircraft. Typical cloud seeding involves specialized shells launched into the clouds, but such equipment is strictly regulated. Even black market dealers wouldn't touch it. So, Hiroshi opted for aerial dispersal instead. He'd need a drone capable of reaching high altitudes. Nothing's ever easy. Creating a paradise sounds simple, but it requires a lot of work, Hiroshi murmured, staring at the dry ice at his feet. He knelt to pulverize the dry ice. Just then, his phone rang wildly. A glance revealed an unknown number. After a moment's hesitation, he declined the call. Post-apocalypse, he often received sales pitches for contraband. Tired of it, he ignored unmarked numbers. But this call was not from a merchant. It was from someone else entirely. Meanwhile, at Simon's home, his wife stood helplessly in the courtyard, clutching their child. She looked from the blood on the ground to the distant police car, feeling a wave of despair. How could it be so coincidental? One swing of Simon's axe had struck Oscar's carotid artery. How could it be so coincidental? A patrol car had passed by, heard the scream, and officers had rushed in to find the scene, cuffing Simon and hauling him away. How could it be so coincidental? The man who had led her husband and the militia to defeat the bandits was now unreachable by phone. "Mommy, Mommy, I'm scared," her son whimpered, clinging to her neck. He was only 3 and didn't understand what had happened. "Where's Daddy? Why did he leave us? I'll be good and stop eating snacks. Just bring Daddy back, please. I'm so scared." Her son's cries only deepened her despair. She slumped onto the steps, feeling her world turn gray, enveloped by hopelessness.